Question 5. Which can be both an empirical and molecular formula of a stable compound for mark multiple choice question. So, it's empirical simplest whole number ratio of atoms of each element in a compound was a molecule, and molecular formula shows the arrangement of atoms in molecule. So it definitely can't be B, that's not the simplest. The simplest would be P2O5. And so you're left with A, B, and C. However, it says of a stable compound. CH3, well, we can make methane, CH4, with a lone pair of electrons, so that's not going to be stable. NH2 is going to have lone pair of electrons from NH3. That's also going to be unstable. Therefore, the answer will be A, CH2O. So you have to read the whole question. If you just read this bit and jump into it, you're going to get A, B, and C. But a stable compound, therefore, must be A, because you'll get A, C, D, and C and D are unstable. 6. Which diagram shows the correct bond polarity molecule oxygen difluoride? Well, the fluorine is going to be delta negative, the oxygen is going to be delta positive. What conclusion can be drawn from protection of He2+ particles at point P? So, if the particles are going to point P, they're passing through this gold sheet. That tells me that it's mainly empty space in order for it to pass. What conclusion can be drawn from protection of He2+ at point Q? So, it's being repelled, sent back to Q. Well, it's going to tell me that it's got a positive nucleus, however, it's a small positive nucleus. Reason being, if it was a large positive nucleus, all of them would go back, but clearly not. 1 in 8,000 would take that point Q, therefore it's got to be a small positive nucleus. Question 9, which gradient represents termination step? This is a really nice one. It's obviously going to be D. 2 free radicals to form a covalent bond. 8A, 9D. 10, which statement is correct about the molecule shown? It reacts with HB on electrophilic substitution reaction. Now this question demonstrates why you need to know mechanisms really well. It's a multiple choice question. Well, it's not, it's electrophilic addition. Hydrogen halides react with halogen alkanes, undergo electrophilic addition of hydrogen halides to form, what is it? It's a hydrogen halide and it's electrophilic addition reaction, that's what I'm trying to say. This one reacts with NABH4 and nucleophilic addition elimination. It is nucleophilic addition, but it's not elimination, it's nucleophilic addition. So it's not A or B. Now you're left with C or D. It reacts with ethanol potassium hydroxide in elimination reaction. Well, what happens in elimination reaction? Let's just give an example. And obviously fill in the rest of the hydrogens. Well, it's going to take a proton. Now the left carbon has a spare electron. It takes a proton from the hydrogen, left carbon spare electrons form a double bond, the CBr bond breaks. So it needs an adjacent hydrogen to bond to. H3C, it's not got an adjacent hydrogen that the OH minus, or in this, yeah, but OH minus lone pair of electrons can bond to. So therefore the answer must be D. Question 10D. 11. Which statement is correct about 2-methyl-butene and 2-methyl-butane 2-ol? They can be oxidized by reaction with acidified potassium dichromate. Well, what would you do? You find out what kind of alcohols are, and you'd find out that one of them is tertiary alcohol, 2-methyl-butane 2-ol. Let me just show you guys what I'm on about. Methane, ethane, propane, butane. It's got a CH3, it's got an OH, and that's clearly tertiary alcohol, the OH, and it's bond to 1, 2, 3 carbons. This carbon bond. It's a tertiary alcohol, so therefore it cannot be that. Only primary, secondary alcohol could be used for that, so it can't be B. Formed by hydration of 2-methyl-butene. No, not both of them can be formed by that. 4 peaks in 13C NMR spectra. That's also wrong. The answer is A. They can be formed by alkaline hydrolysis of esters. 12. When the concentrations of W, X, and Y all double, the rate of reaction increased by a factor of 4, which is a possible rate of this reaction. This is a really tricky one. Multiple choice question. I got it definitely wrong the first time I attempted it. Well, I would have got it wrong. But the idea is rate equation. So what do you include in a rate equation? You include reactants. We don't care about the products. We're seeing how the reactants affect the concentrations, reaction, and all of that. So reactant. So we don't care about Z. So any rate equation including Z automatically is wrong. So D is out of the question. So that's a nice thing to eliminate. So now we have a 33% chance of getting it correct. We also should know that if each of these are doubled, the rate of reaction increased by a factor of 4. Well, the rate of reaction should increase by a factor of 2 if they're all doubled. That tells me that it has to be a total of a second order. That doesn't tell me that one of them is second order. That's the tricky part. Because if that's second order, that's first order. Total is going to be third order. That's the tricky part. This one, same, it's going to be third order. But because they're all doubled and increased by a factor of 4, well, it's got to be total of second order, aka first order. So it's got to be C. Because think about it, 2 and then 2 times 2 will give me 4. Whereas in this case, it's 2 squared times by 2. 2 squared times by 2. And that will give me 4 times 2 is 8. So the rate of reaction increased by a factor of 8. But it tells us in the question increased by a factor of 4. Therefore, C is the correct answer. Question 13D. Which graph would show the direction second order with respect to X? It can't be B or C. First order. Can't be, what is it? B and C. So that's really nice. Sometimes a lot of these questions, like, you can eliminate 2 of them just by your knowledge, but then to guess between A and D, it's going to be a bit trickier. But we don't need to guess. We need to learn these graphs by heart, and the answer is D. Well, we should learn these graphs by heart. We get D. A, which equation represents the process that occurs when the standard entropy of atomization. I still haven't learned these graphs off by heart, by the way, but obviously I probably will before the exam. Occurs when the standard entropy of atomization ID is measured. So remember, we're forming 1 mole. So we can already eliminate B and D because we've got 2 iodines, 2 moles. So that cannot be true for equation. A and C. Well, C, we're going from a gaseous state of iodine to gaseous state of just I. It's obviously going to be A, from its elements, iodine solid, to its gaseous state. 15, which structure is formed by aspartic acid in solution at pH 12. With solution at pH 12, we're going to have COO minus carboxylate ions. And aspartic acid, we want 2 COHs, so it's actually going to be D, because then the H plus will bond to it and you'll form your 2 COHs and your H3N pluses. So the answer 15 is D. 16, let's draw up benzene. Actually, let's do this. There we go. So we've got a methyl group here, 1,4-dimethylbenzene, 2,3,4, a methyl group here. Now this one's really tricky. Well, obviously these are carbons and the hydrogens here. Now obviously these 2 are symmetrical, so that's 1 carbon environment. There's also carbon here and a carbon here. That's another carbon environment. And now if we look at here, a lot of students, including myself, be like, okay, that's another carbon environment, or that's another carbon environment, that's another carbon, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. But in reality, there's a carbon here, so they're all identical, so it's just going to be another carbon environment, just one. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 will give me 3. So not carbon environment, so there'll be 3 peaks, sorry, not carbon environment, so clearly asking about peaks. 17 mentions pair 3 elements of the highest melting point. Phosphorus, no. Sulfur, a lot of students, including myself, go immediately for sulfur, but the actual answer is aluminium, the strong metallic bonding. Chlorine reacts with coal diluted aqueous sodium hydroxide, which is a complete list of products. This again is showing you just need to know your equations, because if you draw it out, write it down equations, chlorine plus NaOH, obviously it's 2 NaOH to form NaCl plus NaClO plus H2O. What do we form? We form sodium chloride. We form water. So it can't be B, and it can't be D. And we also form sodium chlorate, and it is 1. Now this tells me the oxidation state of chlorine is 1. Well, if you look at NaClO, oxidation state of sodium is 1. Oxidation state of oxygen is -2. -2 plus 1 is -1. Therefore, chlorine must have an oxidation state of +1. Therefore, the answer is A. Which products are formed when magnesium reacts with steam? Again, an equation you do need to learn off by heart. With steam, however, this one's a bit of a tricky one because there's 2. With liquid water and with steam. Well, with steam, we form magnesium hydroxide plus hydrogen. Magnesium oxide plus hydrogen, not magnesium hydroxide. Magnesium oxide plus hydrogen. Which observation would confirm that ammonia gas is released when sodium, while solid ammonium chloride is warm with solid calcium hydroxide? Blue litmus paper turns red. No. It's red litmus paper turns blue. That's for sure. So it's just B or D. Well, remember the ammonia gas is a gas, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to hold the paper just above the solid, because then the gas will go to the paper. We don't want to, when it's touched onto the solid mixture, no. So the answer is going to be D21. Which monomer or pair monomers could be used to make this polymer? Well, it's got to be a diamide and dicarboxylic acid, but in this case a diacyl chloride. So it can't be A and B because that's only one thing. We need 2, diamine and diacyl chloride and diamine or amide. And now we can just count out the carbons, because this has got 4, 5, 6. This has got a total of 12 carbons, and this has got a total of let me check again. This has got a total of 5, 6, that's 12, 1, 7, 8. I counted it wrong, but the answer is C. 22. Structure of polyester chain is shown, which they correctly explained by plastic and polyester only soften at high temperatures. In the chain, no, it's the intermolecular forces we're talking about. This was either A or B. Well, the hydrogen bonds cannot form in here, so therefore it must be B. Can't be hydrogen bonds. 22B. 23. Which statement is correct? You do need to. I'm pretty sure you do need to know this equation as well. HNO3 acts as base, acts as catalyst, acts as electrophile, acts as reducing agent. Definitely not that or that, because if it acted as a catalyst, it wouldn't be used up in the reaction, but it clearly is used up because it's not formed at the end of the reaction. So the answer is A. An electrophile. What's the definition of electrophile? Well, a nucleophile is an electron pair donor, electrophiles electron pair acceptor, I think. But the answer is A. 24, which is correct order for the values, pH values of solutions. Well, base strength, right? And ammonia is just NH3. Ethylamine, well, it's going to have a lone pair of electrons. Whereas phenylamine, well, it's got a phenyl group, so it's going to have even more delocalization. So the correct order for the pH value is going to be C. 25. Which element forms ionic oxide that reacts with strong alkalis? It is aluminium. Which name is correct about this reaction? If you're looking at it, we've gone from 4 moles, 3 here, 1 here, to 7 moles. So what happens? Well, the entropy is gonna be large because we're going from 4 moles to 7 moles. So the number of disorder is going to increase. So entropy change is large and positive, and they just add these ones to trick you out. Remember, 4 moles, 7 moles entropy change, right? Which complex exists as optical isomers? There's a mistake in here. It should actually be B and C, but obviously you're only supposed to do one. Therefore, I'm gonna skip this question. But the answer is B and C, and I haven't gone through these complexes anyway, so I wouldn't be able to get it anyway. 28. The answer is B. Draw out structures and see how many you can get, and obviously with Tollens reagent, so therefore it is an aldehyde. Ketones don't react with Tollens agent, only aldehyde does. 29. Which ion cannot catalyze the reaction between iodine and peroxide disulfate? Use data below to help you answer this question. Again, I haven't gone through these topics, but the answer is B. Which species of shape is influenced by presence of one or more lone pair of electrons on a central atom? AlCl3? Definitely not. ClF3, yes. IF6 plus, well, it's going to have one less electron, therefore it's going to be an octahedral shape. 6 bonding pairs, no lone pairs of electrons, minus an electron, and same with here. It's going to be, is it octahedral? Is it square planar? No, octahedral. The answer is B. 31. Prepare a solution with the greatest mass of solid. B. Which indicator should be used to titration to find the concentration of solution of methylamine using this much of HCl? Answer is B. I haven't gone through this part. I have started acids and bases. I'm halfway through that, but we haven't gone through this part about indicators and titrations and all that. Which compound shows the greatest percentage difference between these two values? Lattice entropy value can be obtained from Born-Haber cycles and by calculation is a perfect ionic model. Perfect ionic model assumes that it's symmetrical and the charges are distributed evenly between the ions, right? So if we're trying to find the greatest percentage difference, we want to have a small cation and a big anion, a negatively charged ion. Well, these two are very similar, so it's not going to show the greatest percentage difference. So we're left with C and D. Well, if we just look at the charges, the answer should be D. And 34, force reaction at equilibrium, which combination temperature pressure give the greatest equilibrium yield of products. Well, the forward reaction is endothermic. So if we want the greatest equilibrium yield of products, we want to, forward reaction is endothermic. If we increase the temperature, yeah, it's going to shift to right to endothermic. So we want a high temperature, so it can't be B, it can't be D. And now the pressure, well, we've got 2 moles of gas here, 3 moles of gas here, so we want to, if we increase the pressure, it's going to shift to side with fewer moles of gas, which is the left hand side. So we want to decrease the pressure, so it's shift to side with more moles of gas, which is the right hand side. So we want a low pressure and a high temperature, so C. And that is the end of the multiple choice